Lichtenstein Castle, also known as the fairy tale Castle of Württemberg, is an 1840s Biedermeier-style Gothic Revival castle built on a large rock near Honau, Reutlingen, in the Swabian Jura, situated in the Tüblingen region of Baden-Württemberg, Germany. Geography. The castle is located on the Alb Trough of the Swabian Jura in the Reutlingen district at an altitude of 817 meters above sea level and about 250 meters above the Etsch, a small tributary of the Neckar River and its valley. The ruins of Schloss Liechtenstein's medieval predecessor, Burgalt Liechtenstein, lie 500 meters away. History. Background. Since 1100, a castle belonging to a family of ministerials of the Counts of Alcham, and later Counts of Württemberg, has been located on this part of the Alb Trough above the source of the river Etsch. The castle and its denizens, the lords of Liechtenstein, were not allied to the city-state of Reutlingen and were thus under frequent attack. The citizens of Reutlingen destroyed the castle in 1377. A new castle was built some 500 meters from the ruins on the site of the current structure, and was one of the most impressive fortifications of the late Middle Ages. Despite such features as early casemates that made it nearly unassailable, the castle ceased to be the ducal seat in 1567 and fell into disrepair. During the 30 Years' War, the forehouse was repossessed by the Tyrolean line of the Habsburgs following the death of the last Liechtensteiner in 1687 during the Great Turkish War. The coat of arms of the family, a pair of golden angel wings on a blue background, is still displayed in the Rittersaal of the castle. In 1802, King Frederick I of Württemberg came into possession of the castle, dismantled it to its foundations and replaced it with a somewhat ungainly hunting lodge, or forced house. Modern castle in the 19th century. Growing romanticism of medieval structures and chivalry would cause Gothic Revival architecture to become extremely popular, leading to imposing buildings such as the votive Cathedral of Vienna and Neuschwanstein Castle. This was coupled with the spread of nationalism across Europe, creating a new cultural era in the German Empire as well as other parts of Europe. In 1826, German poet and patriot Wilhelm Hauff published his book Lichtenstein, in which the castle, the book's namesake, played a major role. King Frederick's cousin Duke Wilhelm von Urach, a German patriot heavily interested in medieval history, art, and architecture, was so inspired by the book that he purchased the estate, at that time merely another crumbling ruin in the Swabian Jura, from the king. After negotiations for the purchase with the resident Oberforster Philipp Freiherr von Hugel and his successor Friedrich von Mandelsloh, desiring an accurate emulation of a medieval castle to live in and house his substantial collection of medieval arts, arms, and armor, Duke Wilhelm recruited master architect and restorationist Karl Alexander Heideloff after turning down designs by Württemberg court painter Franz Seraph Sternbrand and Christian Wilhelm von Faber-Dufay that differed substantially from today's structure. Construction of the historic Gothic Revival Neues Schloss Liechtenstein, managed by Johann Georg Rupp, began in 1840. The new structure, its design heavily influenced by Count Wilhelm, reused the ancient foundations of the castle of 1390, and stood up to 3 stories tall, with a curtain wall and courtyard to complete the castle complex. A sprawling outer bailey decorated with corner bastions and turrets was also constructed, and the castle was then decorated within and without by Nuremberg painter and architect Georg Eberlin, a not name known as the master of Schloss Liechtenstein. Each room was furnished by Wilhelm von Urich himself. The castle was completed in 1842, and the king was present for its inauguration ceremony. After the Revolution of 1848, then Count Wilhelm became the first Duke of Jura. A passionate artillery officer, he desired to improve the defences of his castle and so began to build pre-outwork caponnières in the style of the imperial fortress of Ulmen, a trench along the fortress to deter attack. Later he had cannons placed in the bastions on the walls. In 1898 and 1901 respectively, two other buildings were built in the bailey in the same style as the castle. Restoration. Efforts to restore the castle, made possible by local non-profits like the Wassenrot Foundation and Community Fund for the Preservation of Lichtenstein Castle, began in 1980 with the walls, continued with the second floor in 1998, and were completed with the upper floor and roof in 2002. Still owned by the Dukes of Jura, the castle is open to the public via guided tour, although some rooms may not be entered. The courtyard is open to the general public, allowing the gun emplacements on the walls to be viewed. Schloss Herrin, 1837 to 1869, Wilhelm Graf von Württemberg, from 1867 Duke of Jura, 1869 to 1928, Wilhelm Karl of Jura, 1981 to 1991, Karl Anselm of Jura, 1991, Wilhelm Albert von Jura. In popular culture, Schloss Lichtenstein has appeared multiple times on postage stamps. In the 1940s, during the French occupation of Germany, authorities issued a series of stamps that included an 84 Reichspfennig stamp showing the castle, and the Deutsche Bundespost Berlin issued a 35 Pfennig stamp depicting the castle in 1982. 1826, in Wilhelm Hauf's popular romantic novel, Lichtenstein, the castle serves as the namesake of the book and one of its primary locales. 2009, Lichtenstein was used for the filming of the German adaptation of the original Grimm's fairy tale, Dornröschen. Lichtenstein Castle is the inspiration for Kami's home stage in the arcade game Super Street Fighter 2. Recreations. In 1862, a castle was constructed in Leitzer at Bergen off Rügen, Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, that copied much from Lichtenstein Castle. The Lechzapfen Vineyard House constructed at Osthofen in 1891 and Worms in the Rhenish Hesse is almost a miniature version of the main hall of Lichtenstein Castle. René Fritz, a German-born Cape Town businessman well known in advertising circles, first saw the 19th century Schloss Lichtenstein in the land of his ancestors, and decided to one day replicate it upon his return to Hout Bay, South Africa. He was able to start building in 1986 and 12 years later it was completed. He eventually turned it into a guest house before he died there. Sometime after his death, his widow, Christine, sold it to an overseas buyer. It is considered one of the area's more popular attractions.